Good Sunday afternoon. You know what that means. It's another exciting episode, Matinee with the homies. And today we're going to be talking about horror movies. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Rhonda, how's it going, Rhonda?
I am doing real good. Rhonda, help me. Rhonda is doing real good. Actually, this morning I started it off by like watching the new House of Wax because they were playing it on TV because I was just kind of interested since we were talking about it last week too. And I'll share my thoughts a little bit more as we go along with the conversation further. But I will say this highlight was Paris Hilton just getting speared in the face. That was a good one.
That was hot. That was hot.
That was
Phantom.
Hot as hot. Jake, how's it going? How's it going, my
Hey,
friend?
Phantom and guys, I'm doing well, thank you. It is Sunday, early Sunday afternoon, as you know, 1 p.m. EAST. An exciting episode of Matinee for the homies. I have myself, I have my coffee, I have my wits, and I have a list of spooky movies in my head. And excited to be here with the boys, with the homies, and talk about it.
How's it going, Atomic?
Oh, I'm just chilling. I've been waiting for this all morning and can't wait to get started.
So now I gotta introduce the guy that has multicolored hair. He won't admit it. Campia, how's it going, my friend?
It's going good till I got in here with you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we're happy you could join us here, as Kreese would say. We appreciate that. Today's subject, like Phantom said, is going to be horror movies, seeing that we're right on the verge of Halloween.
Mhm.
And so when you think of horror movies, the thing that comes up is different kinds of horror movies. Like there is through the years been all kinds of subgenres to these horror movies.
Mhm.
And the first question I had for everyone today was which one I'll start. I guess I can start. AP, if you'll bring up the list. Basically, you've got a different kind of genres of horror types. You've got body horror, monster. Myself, though, I would fall probably under. I was raised with the slasher films of the 80s, so I enjoy those. And I also enjoy, but when it comes to horror, comedy horror is my thing. Shaun of the Dead, stuff like that. That was just like make you laugh. Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Some of those are just hilarious. So I myself would consider myself a comedy horror genre because I will say this, and I cannot stand ghost horror or paranormal activity, stuff like paranormal horror. That's just not my thing.
Okay.
And I'm sure we all will have different ones. So I'll throw it back to maybe AP. Which one do you fall under?
Lovecraftian horror.
And what movies makes you think of that?
Oh, well, there's I don't remember the name of it. It's the one with Nicolas Cage.
Color Out of Space.
Color Out of Space.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up off Lovecraft.
Yes,
Based
that
off
is
Lovecraft's
directly one of Lovecraft's short stories. It's a good one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, that one, and I speaking of like I know I was excited for Guillermo del Toro is working on a Shadow of Innsmouth story, which I'm excited for.
He just likes fish people. What can you do?
Yes. You know, the interesting thing too is that he was also trying to work on an adaptation of At the Mountains of Madness. That one's also a really good story too.
Ooh, that
that
would
one's
be
one of
good.
the
Yeah.
best.
Mm-hmm.
Especially Del Toro.
Yeah.
Phantom, what about you? What do you fall under?
There's not like a particular one that I draw to. I just love horror.
Is there anyone you dislike?
I would have to say some body horror, but then I mean, I don't like blood porn. And I'll explain that later on. But it's like when they use like too much gore for a movie where it's not needed. You know,
Shock horror is a good term for that.
Yeah, shock horror.
Yeah.
But I love classic horror, and you know, like the B movies and stuff from the 50s and 60s, some 70s, but slasher films. Always loved the slasher film, but yeah, I just can't stand a movie that uses way too much blood to, in a movie.
over the top and it, like
Yeah.
unnecessarily.
It
over the
depends.
top.
If it's for the point of the shock value, I think it kind of misses something. But if it's like plays up like I'll talk about a movie later that has a buttload of gore in it, but it's made as a comedy.
Oh, I think I might know which one.
Yep.
I already
You
know
might
what
already
he's talking
mentioned it.
about. Yeah.
And next up, let's see, Ronan. What do you have?
So, man, there's a lot of different subgenres in horror that are really great that I do quite enjoy. Comedy horror is always fun because you're getting scared and you're laughing as well. Found footage horror is absolutely fantastic because it's like trying to put the audience right in the middle of like all the craziness that's going on. Me personally, I tend to lean towards the zombie genre, if I'm going to be completely honest. I absolutely love zombie films and, you know, zombie video games and just that genre of horror in general. The idea of taking essentially that one passage in the Bible, you know, the dead rising and walking amongst the living once more, and then actually turning it to like a horrific, you know, extreme of sorts. Where it's not just the dead.
What movie would you consider that? Like, what are you thinking of when you hear that? When you think of zombie horror?
Mostly the Dawn of the Dead films. Both of them. I would say George A. Romero's original film from the 70s, as well as Zack Snyder's remake of the same thing. Obviously different stories, but like, you know, when you hear that term, you hear that line, when there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Yeah, that's, oh God, it sends chills down my spine, I gotta say.
I can agree with that. I love Day of the Dead myself.
You know,
Day of the Dead's a good one too.
Movie? You know, it's a good zombie movie. It's a horror comedy. Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
there you go.
Shaun of the Dead.
That's another fun one.
That's
hey,
one of the
boogity, boogity, boogity.
Like when a Nick Frost character tries to jump the instead of jumping the fence, he just plows right through it.
Yep.
It's like that's the best
that was
movies I feel.
But yeah, I get what you're saying though.
No, he did that in Shaun of the Dead too, didn't he?
No, he only plowed through it in Hot Fuzz.
No, Sean fell over.
No, you know what? Yeah, Sean was the one he tried jumping the fence and it fell over.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I remember.
And finish this out, Big Dog Jake. What do you fall under?
So, oh goodness. So, we will definitely get into this as we go, but I'm actually relatively new when it comes to horror. I hated horror films for the longest time as a kid because I used to be a massive scaredy cat. And so the first time I ever saw like a horror movie of my own volition was when I was like 17, actually. And I actually enjoy them quite a lot. I do love comedy horror. I love, like Shaun of the Dead, for instance, fucking fantastic. Love that movie. I do love Lovecraftian horror. One of my favorite, this isn't exactly a film, but like the first season of True Detective, I absolutely love. And there's Lovecraftian elements to that if you've ever watched it. But if I had to choose a favorite, I like psychological horror the best. That mainly because there's no like jump scares, which I like to call jump startles, because most of the time they're just used to startle you instead of actually like genuinely scare you. It doesn't rely necessarily on like gore or splatter. It's about that creeping, eerie feeling that builds up with you over time until you get it to eventual peak and then catharsis after the fact. I very much enjoy.
Well, same question. What movie? When you hear that, what movie are you thinking of?
Well, there's a number of them. One that came out, let's say, in the past decade, actually almost exactly 10 years ago, was Osgood Perkins' The Black Coat's Daughter. You can argue that it's like a combination of various subgenres if you've ever seen the movie, but for the vast majority of that movie, it's psychological. It's just all building inside of you until you finally see a couple of little things that help you put the pieces together. And that's another thing I like. I like having things drop throughout the movie and you don't know what's important and what's not until the very end, and then everything kind of like locks into place and you put it all together in your mind basically as the climax is happening, or even as the climax happens as it ends.
That was me.
I love that feeling, that click feeling, that aha.
The Bone Collector was one of the I liked like that.
Mm-hmm. That's another good one too. I know
Dude,
that.
Bone Tomahawk was a good horror movie too.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, Western
Mm.
horror. Western horror is like Bone
Mm.
Tomahawk.
Wow,
Oh,
that
dude,
ain't even on here either. So we're finding different other genres too.
that's right.
Well, Wesley Snipes did one called Gallows Walkers about
Mhm.
the dead,
Hmm.
and that was actually pretty good too.
Yo, that's
Was
not,
that in
I've
his
not
early
seen that one.
career?
Just hearing about that one actually.
Yeah, they're like
Nice.
they're vampire zombies and stuff,
Mhm.
and he's like, Danny Trejo did a movie where he's like the devil. He's like the devil's um uh bounty hunter in a
Oh.
movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
What is
I
he
mean,
not a
there's
bounty
a
hunter in?
It makes sense that you'd like something like that, Phantom, because you're really big into Ghost Rider,
Mhm.
and you
Yeah.
could, I guess you could kind of say that Ghost Rider is like the devil's bounty hunter in a sense.
well, he is
He
basically he
yeah,
is.
he is.
absolutely
He's
is.
just not doing it on his own
Right.
volition.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
That's kind of nice.
El
Well,
Donna.
oh, hi Don.
Yeah, Donna. I
Welcome.
will say though, regarding this list, they have like werewolf, for instance, but nowhere on here that I can see, and I'm pretty sure I've seen it enough that there's no creature horror films, like going back to, like, Fan was speaking about B
Well, there's
movies,
monster-
like
Well,
50s.
monsters on
Right, I
there.
was
That'd be the
gonna say,
closest
it's like-
thing.
Monster,
could be
yeah,
the-
but
Mhm.
maybe this is something we can get into. Is there a difference between monster horror and like creature
Like,
features?
are you're referring to like kind of like that Piranha movie? Like
Well, Black Lagoon.
That's
Creature
not
from the
really
Black
Piranha,
Lagoon.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, things like that, or again, going back to like B movies of the 50s and 60s, like things like giant scorpions, giant spiders.
Oh, yeah,
I
and-
see.
Yeah.
Attack
Mo-
of the
that
50-foot
kind of thing.
spider.
Monster on the Loose films kind
Well,
of thing. Right?
those
Like
those
them,
those
and
were
yeah.
based around. Those were like atomic monsters. They, like a lot of those creatures were affected by the like nuclear testing out in the West, and like the giant spider, like the praying mantis, and hell, even them
Mhm.
the ants were all affected by atomic testing
Right.
out west, and that was their own subgenre of B films. Were the atomic creature features is what they were
And
called.
I guess thus they're
Right.
massive, whether super popular or not, they're massive, like
Mhm.
production in numbers, like at scale in
Mhm.
the 50s during all the nuclear testing that was going on, again,
Mhm.
out west in the US.
Of course, that's not even mentioning, the king of them all, obviously, like Godzilla, which
Yeah,
Of course.
consider a horror
I'd
movie.
probably, yeah, I was going to say, I'd
I would
argue
s-
that the first one is a horror movie, considering the way it's shot.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Same thing with King Kong. They would be
Mhm.
considered monster horrors
Mhm.
before
Yeah.
they ever became what they were.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
kind of nice. So let me go back to this. Then we're going to on what's the first horror movie you remember watching? And I'll just tell you
Mhm.
mine, of course. Just to start off, the first horror movie I remember ever watching was the first Freddy movie. And
First Nightmare on Elm Street.
yes,
Nice.
I was born in the 80s, and I was probably about 4 or 5 years old when that movie came out. And my parents, just the normal 80s parents, didn't care what I watched, didn't care what I did, as long as I didn't make no problems. And that first Freddy movie was just crazy for me to see that, because it's like some of these things that they did in that movie I had never seen before. Of course, I hadn't, because I was only like 4 or 5.
Right.
But
right.
it was trippy, it was scary, it was enjoyable beginning to end. And so
Oh. Hell, just that scene alone where his first kill of the girl, and she's in bed, and next thing you know, she starts like rolling up the walls, and her
Yeah.
body just starts shredding apart, and blood
Bro.
is everywhere, man.
and before that, it was just the normal slashers, like Michael
Yep.
Myers and
Mhm.
Jason.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Or Jason's mom.
let's see, go to Jake this time. Jake, why don't you go second?
Sure. Well, considering that comedy horror is up here as a subgenre, I guess chronologically, the first ever horror movie I saw was, again, this was when I was quite young. My my best friend at the time, and effectively even now, is like 2.5 years older than me, and he had an older sister who, I guess their mom, was like, take your brother and his friend out, to the mall or whatever, And I think I was probably as well, maybe about 5 years old. And they brought us in to see the first scary movie, like the first scary movie, the Wayans Brothers scary movie. And if comedy horror is a genre, I guess that would be the very first horror movie that I saw. I don't remember it a ton, like that's. I mean, I remember the movie because I've seen it since, but I think that would be the first horror movie that I ever remember actually seeing. So obviously I didn't get it, and the fact that it was a comedy horror was absolutely lost on me because, again, I was very young and I was a massive scaredy cat when I was young. But there are still a couple of scenes in the movie that I remember later in life when I went back to watch Scary Movie again of my own volition. When the scenes happened, it like clicked in my head and I remembered it from years and years prior. Which, by the way, if you're if you're, I don't know if this is still a big thing, but if you're like a teenage girl who is watching kids, you're babysitting, and you have children as young as 5, don't put on things like even if they're comedy horror films, don't put on Scary Movie for like a 5-year-old. even see when they're walking past you. Don't do that.
Let's be honest, that's probably why I'm a little messed up.
I think it's why a lot of us are a little messed up.
A little messed up.
You got a point there.
But to be fair, my dad did show me Terminator 2 when I was like 4, and apparently, according to him, I loved it. I loved Terminator 2, even at that age.
AP, what about you?
I'd say the first horror movie I remember watching was The Elevator, where all those people are stuck in that elevator, and it's like a haunted elevator. That movie messed me up as a kid. I was scared of elevators for years. In fact, it wasn't until like halfway through high school where I actually overcame the fear. But
he
like
took a baseball bat to an elevator and beat the shit out of it. He's like, "I'm bigger than you, elevator. You can't
I'm
scare
your boss."
me in media now."
No. It's it was just a movie that was terrifying, and then someone pulled a prank on me, and I was stuck in a hospital elevator for a minute.
Oh no!
And by a prank, it was like they just opened the fucking door. So
yikes!
Yeah, and I was like a little kid. I was like under 10, and I was like, I hate this.
I think we know what stuck with you now.
Keep in mind, this was like a week after I watched that movie for the first time, but I was like, this is it. This is how I end.
This is how it ends. It's real.
Okay, what about you, Ronan?
I'm trying to like remember as far back as I can because there is.
Well,
I know
it doesn't have to be the first one, but just the first one that made an impact with you. How about that?
First one? Oh, okay. Yeah, first one that made an impact. Then in that case, it's probably a cross between 2 films actually. So this was around 2003. Both of these films came out at the same time. There was Darkness Falls, which involved the one ghost lady that was called the Tooth Fairy in it, right? That one, I think I watched it over at my cousin's house, and ever since then, I could barely fall asleep. I think I was like crying and bawling my eyes out ever since. And then even my cousin like woke me up in the middle of the night. He's like, just stare at this light, just stare at it and try and fall asleep because you're crying, it's starting to piss me off. I'm like, and I just couldn't do it because that shit kind of scared the hell out of me, especially considering that the Tooth Fairy was going after kids in that movie. And then
but light
after
was
that,
the solution. If you say
light was the solution, you're not wrong. That's true. So maybe my cousin had a point. The other one, and I think this is probably the start of how my mind got a little bit fucked up, despite the fact I'm trying to go near God. House of a Thousand Corpses. I think it's the first ever exposure I had to Rob Zombie.
That one.
And holy crap, dude. Like,
Rob Zombie got some wild movies.
So James Rolfe, I remember he covered like both House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. He talked about House of a Thousand Corpses feels more like a crazy MTV slasher music video. And then, of course, Devil's Rejects is like a legit film from him, right? I haven't seen Devil's Rejects yet. I hear
Oh,
nothing but
dude.
great things about
Pretty
it.
good.
It's basically like a documentary about the life of the three main characters from the
It's-
first movie.
It's
Right,
great.
right.
It's really good. I would stay away from the third one. 3 from Hell
Yeah.
was not that great, I don't
Oh,
think.
okay.
But that's just my opinion. But the second one, Devil Reject, oh, it's so freaking good.
Right, right. But House of a Thousand Corpses, I watched it. It definitely fucked me up as a kid, especially that ending too. Like the last girl, the final girl, as a lot of horror people like to say. Like she thought she got away, hopped into the car. It was like, oh, it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw, where she managed to get away. Nope, killer's in the back seat. It's all going back.
I
They
mean,
did
you
that-
kind of
they
get
did
something
that in one
similar
of
in the
the-
second one.
Check
Yeah.
out, and you can never leave.
They did that. They also did that in one of the Texas Chainsaw remakes, where the girl
Mhm.
thought she got away and she got into the car, and then he just slammed the chainsaw through her, which is kind of what I was just thinking. It's one of my least favorite horror movies. Is I'm like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I didn't like it just because of that ending. Because it's like, oh, great, bad guys win, nobody survives. I look back at it now, I appreciate it just because it's Rob Zombie and he does a
Mhm.
lot of twisted shit. I like a lot
Oh,
of his works now. Yeah.
And what about you, Phantom?
I would have to say, but it'd have to be Boris Karloff's The Original Mummy movie. Was my very first.
All right.
Well, I've seen Godzilla, but when it comes to Godzilla, I saw the stuff in the 70s. But for classic horror, my very first horror movie was The Mummy, and it was just the story.
Damn, you're
That
that
first scene. That fuck you. So
Back when he was 40.
Back when he was 40
scene-
or back in 1940?
so
Either or.
Yes.
the scene that gets me the most is when you first see them opening up the casket,
Mhm.
the thing,
The
and
tomb.
he's like this with his hands folded, turned to one side, and he starts slowly like turning, and it fades to black, and it's like. And it does a little time skip, and then you see him where he's back to his human form, and all it is like the light across his eyes, and everything's all dark and stuff. Man, I love that movie. And Ebola, you're the guy that's got a girlfriend with a split personality, for Christ's sake.
Damn.
That
You're in a
was
horror
good.
movie every day.
The Mummy's good, but you I know it's not horror, but y'all all got to admit the new Mummy was so freaking amazing.
The Brendan Fraser one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm
very
sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
not the Tom
Fantastic.
Cruise one. Not the
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah. No, I was gonna
No.
say because like the Brendan Fraser one, like they still have some of the horror elements, but they definitely made it more in the vein of
More
like
adventure. Yeah.
Indiana
Action
Jones
adventure.
style.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones,
Gordon, yeah.
Flash Gordon, like all those
It's
old serials and whatnot,
fantastic.
right? It's absolutely wonderful.
And just goes to show you what they can do over 60, 70 years, what our
Mhm.
technology has come to.
Mhm.
Plus, just a little tidbit of like trivia too. That first Mummy movie, the antagonist was Imhotep in that one, which they do bring back in like the Brendan Fraser ones. But
Yeah.
all the other Mummy films, they make it a different mummy instead, which is kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like a different one. I don't remember a different single mummy, or everyone has got a different mummy.
Yeah, so in the original it's Imhotep, but then like the later on you had Lon Chaney Jr. come in and be a different version of the mummy as another like high priest.
Another pharaoh or
Yeah.
high priest. Yeah.
That's when they go with like the more stereotypical, wrapped in bandages kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
King Tut kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And also if you ever notice, like in only Boris
Boris
Karloff's
Karloff, yeah.
mummy is the only one that actually goes back to his human form, and the rest of them stay in their mummy forms
Mhm.
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the movies. Yeah.
The hierarchy of mummies is about to change.
My mummy or your mummy?
I was going to say, I'm a little concerned. What do we mean by that?
Well, I mean, we're talking about the Mummy franchise, so that's a good little lead up to what I was about to say next. So we have all
Okay,
kinds of
scary.
different horror movies, but
Mhm.
what franchises do you feel did well and what ones didn't? Is there any that like you think they should have
Ooh,
continued on,
that's
or
easy.
ones that went too far?
There's a good
Ham-
number of them.
The Hammer films, the Hammer films were so good. Their horror movies were so good. So their Dracula series was top notch for its era.
Sweet, baby.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So what do you think ended that then?
It
Like,
was
why do you
money.
think they're?
Look, because the
Yeah.
studio closed because of money. I mean, they
Oh,
waste.
okay.
It's like
Shocker.
so like Sir Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, their last
Oh,
movie
yeah.
together. That when they did their last Dracula movie, they were not happy with it.
Right.
And like Lee was at that time was literally financing the studio. He was giving them money
Right.
for them to keep going, and he just got
Mm.
tired of it.
Well, was that before or after? I can't remember if the Hammer films were before or after the Abbott Costello, Meet the Wolfman, Meet
Oh
the.
yeah,
That's
after.
It was after. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is like
Okay.
Hammer's like
Yeah.
60s and 70s.
So maybe
Yeah.
that could be what also was the reason. Like maybe everybody looked at it as comedy at that point as opposed to being more serious.
Well, during the 70s and early 80s was the heyday of like Dracula and Frankenstein and Wolfman movies, especially with Hammer. You know, the 70s and 60s and 70s with the Hammer films. I mean, you had movies coming out that were B movies out of like little studios, indie studios at the time.
Mhm.
You had The Howling. You had the Dracula movie with the guy that played Skeletor in He-Man Masters of the Universe that came out around the same time. But then like 1980 hit and you had the Dracula that was kind of fruity this way. And it was and it's like
Kind of.
it started going downhill after that. Horror movies I mean I think what like took it away from like the Wolfman and Dracula and like the Creature from the Black Lagoon or those creatures like that were the slasher films of the late 70s,
Oh,
early 80s.
completely.
That's what I was gonna
Mhm.
say.
Completely.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yep.
They
I mean-
started appealing more to like they were deliberately trying to
Graphic.
appeal to like a teenage audience
Mm.
as opposed to like a later teen audience.
Well,
the
Phantasm.
drive-in
Oh,
drive-in
Phantasm
audience
was so good.
that
as
that
opposed
Yeah.
to adults.
as a subject, continuous subject is that they kept doing more and more over the top gore,
Mhm.
more graphic
Oh, yeah.
ways for people to die, more violent, more brutal, and more absurd even because there's freaking Jason in space or Jason X or something.
Jason X is the
Jason
one.
X.
Yeah. They go to
I will
space.
defend that
Yeah.
movie. I love Jason.
I like it.
I'm not.
I like
I'm not saying it's a bad movie.
Well-
I'm just saying like
you know where that started from. That was like you would have to look at Hellraiser. Hellraiser's where a lot of the over the top, even Phantasm 2, for example, had over the top deaths.
Mhm.
And then it's like like the Freddy movies, they steadily got more instead of being horror movies, but they turn into more comedy horror.
They
Mhm.
did,
Right.
but they
Went
also went a
along.
little aggressive with the blood and with the all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It became like when you saw a character on screen, people began to think, okay, how is Freddy going to kill this person? What's this going to look like? Like they weren't
Mhm.
necessarily scared of the chase or scared of Freddy Krueger. They were thinking to themselves, ooh, how's this person going to die? What's this going to look like?
Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Dream
Yes.
Warriors.
I was
is
just gonna
is
bring
a
up Dream
prime
Warriors.
example. Yeah.
I was just watching it yesterday actually because fucking
Mhm.
AMC's playing it on the TV for their like Fear Fest stuff. And oh
Shut up.
god, Dream Warriors was absolutely great with like the characters trying to fight against Freddy in their own dreams. You got the one nerdy kid basically busting out the D&D Dracula cape,
Yeah.
firing lasers like he's Palpatine. And I'd say the highlight would be when Freddy's bones literally come alive. It's like watching Jason and the Argonauts.
Mhm.
Honestly,
Nice.
dude,
Yeah, I remember
that was
that.
good stuff. Yeah.
I say
Well-
that's a franchise. It was such a good franchise, and 1 was good, 2 was better, 3 got better,
Yes.
4 was really good. But then I think Dream Child is where they started to come down.
Yeah, it jumped a shark. The whole
Yeah.
Dream Child aspect
Dream
was
Child, and then Freddy's Nightmare just kind of took it, I think, too far. They did bring it back with Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I will say that. I think that
Mhm.
franchise, as a franchise,
movie,
still holds up,
it was-
with the exception
was
of today's movie.
It was the movie that even Wes Craven said that was what he intended Freddy to be, was that character.
Mhm.
in that
from
movie.
the
Yeah,
nightmare.
And
Yeah.
Robert Englund
Yeah.
absolutely killed it. And
Yeah.
like the
Oh, he gets a
beginning,
star
like,
in Hollywood.
oh,
Oh, shout out to him. He gets a star on Hollywood Walk of Fame on Friday on Halloween.
Robert Englund?
I
Nice.
didn't even
All
know
right.
that. He
All
deserves
right.
it.
Yeah.
Nope.
He
Very
should have already
nice.
had it by
Definitely
now. Let's be
deserves it.
honest.
Yeah.
He should have had it by now.
Shout out to us.
Oh, yeah.
But I like Jackie Earl Haley. Don't get me wrong, he's a good actor, but man, he just did not work as the new Freddy.
No,
No.
not at all, man.
Like the thing that really threw me off with that series is they in the original they keep saying he killed the kids. They keep saying he did things with the kids. They kept saying that,
Right.
but there was never any proof. It was just the people's word against his. Like he was just the outsider.
Right.
And in the new movie, they showed it, and I'm like, why are you showing that? If you can't get behind it, or
Well,
you can't.
The idea is no one knows whether the town was actually right or they just fucking hated this guy.
Exactly, which made
Well,
you feel for
yeah.
Freddy at points.
Yeah.
And
So-
It made you connect.
That was not in the
connect
new movie.
on some level to the character, to the
Exactly.
character, even though he was the villain. It was still like you're like, oh, there might be more depth to why he is a villain.
Well-
It's the same thing with like Darkness Falls too. Like they tried killing the lady because they thought she was a witch, but she just liked the kids and she just wanted to treat the kids fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Go
well,
ahead, Phantom.
so they did a TV show, Freddy's Nightmares, on I believe it was either Fox or something back in the 90s, and they had a specific episode where it was leading up to his death before the first movie, and they had it where he was in his workshop and he's working on the glove. And you can see where he's got these trophies from the little kids like everywhere. So they alluded it back then in the TV show. Yeah, they never showed it in the movies, but you got to think, like in the movies, like his mother was supposedly banged by a whole bunch of insane people from the insane
Right.
asylum.
Oh yeah, they.
And Freddy's father was one of the characters that later on becomes Freddy. Yeah, so it was alluded to in the TV show, but never it was never flushed out in the movies.
I was today years old when I learned that there was even like a prequel television series. I had no idea that such a thing existed.
Mm-hmm.
It became an anthology after a while, but the first couple episodes were all about like Freddy's past.
Okay.
Yep.
Did they still have Robert Englund in it?
Yeah,
Yes.
he become like the crypt keeper kind of. That's another.
Oh, interesting. It was the narrator.
Yeah.
It was like the
Okay.
narrator.
basically,
All right.
basically.
Very
And then it ended up they turned it into like their version of
Quite
Friday
the
the
way to
13th, the TV show, because Friday the 13th was more relic hunting.
Yep.
They were trying to
Right.
find relics that were evil, and
Mhm.
that's how Freddy's Nightmares turned out. They started like hunting relics that belonged to to Freddy, and it was just awful.
Well,
Right.
then I remember one horror movie I watched was Freddy versus Jason, and that one was less like horror and more of a like, oh, it's just too bad.
It was good.
I consider that more
Yes.
horror action because that was like
Yeah,
no horror
yeah.
action.
it was the
that's what I
battle
was trying
between
to-
the two more than it was the human characters
Yeah.
getting scared.
That's
Yep.
for the
Oh, yeah.
fans. It was for the fans. The
Yeah.
fans
Yeah,
have been
that's
wanting
what
it.
it was.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
That was complete.
I mean, there's literally
It
a
was a
wink
good
and a
movie,
nod
too.
at the very end of the movie.
Yeah, because they literally
little
had it
wink at
where
the camera. Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing was when the company that bought Friday the 13th was the company that was doing the Nightmare on Elm Street stuff.
Oh, New Line?
And
New Line.
yeah, New
Yep,
Line
New
bought,
Line,
yep.
bought them out, and so they had it where the movie had basically two endings: Jason won and Freddy won. That's the reason why when you see him Jason comes walking out Crystal Lake, and Freddy just does that little wink. Is like, yeah, I didn't lose. I didn't lose.
exactly. Like no matter what you did, you had the two sides of the franchise. If you let
Mhm.
one win over the other, somebody's going to be pissed.
They were even making
But-
suggestions too that they could have ended it differently, where they would have had them in hell meeting Pinhead and the Cenobites as well.
They were talking
Oh,
about that.
that
Yeah,
would
Well-
Yeah.
wild. We have.
Well, you
such
gotta remember,
to show you.
they were
I
also
can't
talking about
remember-
Freddy versus Jason versus Ash the Evil Dead,
Ash and
man.
versus
Bro.
Michael.
which was a comic.
Yeah, they actually did a comic on that where they literally horror icons were gonna battle out for the survival of humanity.
Jeez.
And it was like dude, I would.
The survival of humanity, like you mean who gets to live to kill humanity, basically?
Well, it's funny
Essentially.
because in all the later stories you hear and all the later comics, it's really Jason is the hero of the humans, and I'm like,
Yep.
why? He's been killing them for years. It never made sense to me.
Well, the thing is, so we all know that Jason is a Deadite from the Evil Dead series because his mother used the Necronomicon to bring him back,
Yes.
back to life, and literally, like later on, comes to find out that not only Jason is tied to the book, Freddy's tied to the book, Michael's tied to the book, the Cenobites are tied to the book. And that's how Ash gets roped into this conflict between all of them. And it's like, dude, even the guy that plays Ash, okay,
I'm like
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell,
Bruce Campbell was talking
Yeah.
about he would love to be part of that movie. And he's like, it doesn't matter if he wins, loses, but it's like everybody's like that would be a phenomenal
that
movie.
would be a fun
Oh, yeah.
movie. That would,
I mean,
Absolutely.
but I don't think they do it right nowadays. I don't think they do it right now.
going back to what
Um,
Nightsaber said, he's kind of right. They were kind of trying to make an Avengers type of building the movies through the years and building the characters together before even
Interconnected
Marvel
universe,
did it.
yeah.
Connected universe before Marvel even did it, but it just didn't pan out because the money wasn't there.
No.
and that's
Wasn't.
also
Nor was the
something
interest. Nor was the interest from the
Universal's-
studios.
Exactly.
And losing rights because New
Yeah.
Line had the rights to Michael Myers and Ash at one point, and they lost the rights, and it's like, oh man, this would have been so fucking good.
Yep.
Fucking, could you just imagine? Fucking Freddy and Jason and Michael are like fighting it like Pinhead, and all of a sudden you hear, "This is my boomstick." Here comes Ash walking in with the chainsaw hand. He just starts slashing and blowing shit up. And he's trying to say his fucking lines, not the spells and shit. Oh man, that would have been hilarious. That would have been fucking good.
I agree. It would have been nice, but it probably wouldn't have lasted. Let's be honest.
No.
But like you said there, Michael Myers, is there, going back to that franchises, is there a point, which point do you think has Michael Myers been constant with good movies or
No.
the Halloween movies, or what would you say the jumping the shark moment is for Halloween?
I'm going to say the fifth movie. I wouldn't even argue the third movie because the third movie with Season of the Witch, they were trying to do something a little different. They wanted to turn
I wouldn't
Halloween
call that a
into,
Jason story. Yeah, I agree with you.
they wanted to turn it into an anthology series, but like the
Right,
next thing you
right,
know, it just people didn't like it. They wanted the same thing over and over again. So it's like, all right, just give them the usual stuff.
Sometimes you got to stick with what works.
I
Well,
have to.
I guess which movie is the one where they tried to make the connection that Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis's character were actually brother and sister?
That was the new Halloween. Halloween
that was the new
Kills.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Halloween Kills.
Well, if
Yeah.
not
Okay.
before then
Oh,
that
no.
is my
When they were
jump.
brothers, wasn't that H2O?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
H2O, I
I
believe.
thought it was. I thought they
Those two were
insinuated
connected
it
to each
before
other in
that.
some way.
Mhm.
It might.
I
I don't remember
I-
those well.
I
maybe
think
it was
from
his dad or
Dude.
something. Whatever.
I think for me, it's when it was in the newer ones. Is when they showed his face, Michael's face.
Yeah,
He's a
supposed
decrepit
to.
old man. No,
Yeah. He, like the whole point of Michael Myers is that
You don't know who he is.
he's a mystery.
Well, not only do you not know who he is, but he's effectively like this force of
He's
nature.
the boogeyman.
Force of
He's the
evil
boogeyman.
is what he is.
Boogeyman.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
stop him. You can't find him. You can't hunt him down and chase him. Evil ends tonight. It's et cetera, et cetera. Like, what do you mean? You can't like go and get him. He shows up when he shows up. He is seen when he is seen. He does what he's going to do.
That's
And
why the
there's
credits for the first film.
stopping it.
He's an unstoppable force. Like you can delay him. Probably
That's why the
you can delay him, but you can't stop him.
it's why the credits in the first film call him the Shape because you
Yes.
like he has a name, but like he's not Michael Myers anymore.
Right.
He's something else that
He's a
takes on the form of a
being,
human
basically.
being.
He's inside
Yeah.
out William Shatner.
Inside out William Shatner. Yeah.
Actually,
For those of you that
before
don't know.
let me see here. Before we stray too far from the Freddy vs. Jason thing, I actually want to share this. I want to share a post real quick if you guys don't mind. Got it sharing
I
right now
mind.
through StreamYards. Shut up, AP. If you guys
He's the
can
producer,
bring
he's
the
the
page up. It's this one right here. So this is Mark Pellegrini, one of the writers for Common America, but he's a big horror fan as well. They're talking about Freddy vs. Jason right here. He's saying the fucking look on Freddy's face when he realizes he's in the real world, and now he has to fight Jason.
Yeah.
Robert Englund deserves 20 stars on the Walk of Fame, and I
Of
absolutely
course.
agree.
I can't believe he's not had one already. That's what throws me off.
One
Yeah,
of the
no,
comment-
he deserved one so long ago.
One of the comments I made for that was, I wish there were more horror crossovers like Freddy versus Jason. Like, imagine seeing Chucky fighting the Leprechaun, or Michael Myers and Art the Clown
Which
beating
there
the crap
has
out of
been
each
in
other.
comic form.
Okay,
They just,
so-
for some reason, it's rights issues between one studio and another. That's all it is.
Yeah,
I have something.
yeah, that's what it ultimately comes down to.
You guys remember the failed Slenderman movie that came out?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
objectively horrible one.
It was
Well,
not
not only
good at all.
it was bad because one, they did it like 10 years late, and two,
Right.
they didn't capture the character properly. But the whole universe around those creepy pastas was they could have done something like that. They could have had a Jeff the Killer versus Slender Man fight, or like a movie crossover thing if they wanted to, but they did not have the right people involved, and they could not and did not honor source material.
AP, see, here's the thing though, is that they kind of already did Slender Man right through Marble Hornets. Like, you don't really need to make
No.
a big deal. You
Okay,
just
yeah,
have
Marble Hornets.
as
Marble
well.
Hornets did it great.
Yeah.
But my point was, like, they tried to do a big budget
What a
horror
classic
movie, and
rap,
it did not. It was bad.
I
Well,
also like to say that one of the reasons it probably failed too is because it was still living under the shadow of those two girls that committed
Yeah, I was
that
about
murder.
to say that.
No,
Yeah.
that's
They didn't kill it was attempted murder. The girl
Oh,
survived.
okay.
Yeah,
Attempted
it
murder.
was attempted. She survived,
Now-
and
Now we forgot a very specific genre of horror movies,
Mm.
possession horror, like vehicles or like tools.
Christine.
Christine.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's what I was-
Christine.
Maximum
oh yeah,
Overdrive.
you're right.
Maximum
the
Overdrive.
now
Yeah.
there is a movie. This is from the 70s. It's called The Car, where
I was
Satan
just thinking of
himself,
that one.
Satan himself comes to Earth and literally drive. This is like the precursor to Christine, and it had Josh Brolin, I mean his dad in it,
James Brolin.
James Brolin in it, and it was a TV movie. And so basically, Satan is driving around in this big old black car killing people. It was a fucking good movie. And you had Christine. I mean, Christine was a good horror movie. And like Ronan said, Maximum Overdrive. But then you had movies like Tire, which was
Oh
Tiger.
god.
Rubber. I was
Yeah.
while we were talking about possession films, I was literally
movie
looking
was
up Rubber
crazy.
because I just fucking remembered
Rubber,
Rubber.
yeah.
That's such a weird
When the rubber hits the
movie.
road.
But then you
Oh,
would
man.
have to put Chucky as in possession horror because of the voodoo
That's
aspect
right.
of him
Mhm.
putting his body into the doll.
Mhm.
And you had Annabelle. You had some movies we might be talking about before too long. The Puppet Master movies were in
Oh,
that
yeah.
genre also.
And
Completely.
an evil man creating puppets.
You know
and
what?
That's
Some more
that's
recent-
one that was so
like-
good till the fourth one,
Are
and
the-
then
are
just
those-
kind of
Mhm.
went
more
downhill.
recent
Are the
completely.
film
Megan
I-
movies? Are the Megan movies horror movies, or are they just
Yes.
The
Yeah,
first
yeah, I'd
one,
say
no,
the first
more
one kind of was.
sci-fi.
The second
Yeah.
one was more sci-fi.
Yeah, it's psychological horror, to be honest.
So
Well, I
it's
mean-
sci-fi horror. The first one is more
It-
like
it's-
sci-fi
it's-
horror because it's
Yeah, it's like Terminator-esque because she's a
Right.
full-fledged
Yeah,
robot
that's
robot
true,
that goes
that's true.
crazy.
Another possession horror film I probably put up there. It's a more recent one. I think it came out this year. The Monkey. Like, The Monkey's a really interesting one
Mhm.
too.
I've heard that's good, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's
And
man.
if you want modern, the only real good modern lately has been the Terrifier movies when it comes
Yes.
to like slasher
yes,
movies.
that's true.
Well,
Mhm.
so
Those
I
are
got
very much gore porn movies.
Agreed.
So-
well, that's what
Because
Phantom
it
was
is.
talking about. Phantom, you were talking about blood porn.
yeah, so I have a movie that's
Or corn.
technically not even part of the horror genre, but it's actually lumped into it. There's a movie called Ninja. It's Ninja 3, where it's
The
literally
Ascension.
ninjas. It's literally ninjas, and it has a horror movie aspect because a ninja dies and possesses this girl that's she does aerobics and stuff to cause her
Okay.
to kill
Yeah,
people.
Phantom, but that's action.
Oh.
That's not.
Yeah.
Ninja 3:
But
The
that's-
Domination. Yep,
Yeah,
this
I would
one.
say-
it's still a horror movie. It is still
I'd say
considered a horror movie.
Yeah, I'd say a better choice is one I just remembered is My Bloody Valentine.
Oh,
wow.
The
yeah.
original.
Good
I'll
one,
go with the
actually.
original.
Black
yeah.
Christmas. Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Black Christmas.
Black
yeah.
Christmas. I mean, we could argue, or it could be discussed, or it has been argued rather, that Black Christmas was like the first like modern horror movie, if you will. You know, because the Friday the 13th movies come after that, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies come after that.
One of the first
and Black
slasher
Christmas
films,
was what, just
essentially.
straight up
Yeah.
1970, right? Was Black
Mhm.
Christmas just on the
Mhm.
dot 1970? So
Mhm.
that was like ringing in the new era, and arguably the largest era for slasher movies.
But then you have Psycho.
1970s.
You have Psycho that came out in
We do
the
have Psycho.
late
Oh yeah.
late in the 60s.
And although
Right,
there
yeah.
is slashing in that, I would definitely argue that is a psychological horror much more.
It
Mhm.
is.
Yeah. No,
Th-
most
that's
definitely is.
the reason why, like, if you like look it up, the very first movie in the modern era that was labeled a slasher film was the original Halloween, and then they added like
Ooh,
the ones before that one,
Right.
like
Started
Bloody
retroactively putting
Valentine
in
and all.
movies.
Yeah,
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 I would.
Right.
I would
in
say,
later
yeah.
on.
Yeah. So I had another movie I just remembered that is I think underrated is Life. That 2017
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, the one
It's a
with that
sci-fi horror
alien.
film. Ryan
It
Reynolds
is a
is in
sci-fi
it.
horror, yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
Ryan, not Ryan, Jake Gyllenhaal. It's
Okay, Jake Gyllenhaal, not Ryan
and it has a
Reynolds,
very dark ending where the alien is the one that's shooting towards Earth, and so it's like very dark in this.
oh, it's actually both of them. It's Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Rebecca
Yeah.
Ferguson.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah.
Mhm.
There you go.
Actually, speaking of aliens, if you guys don't mind, so we can try and like bring it back a little bit to like the franchise discussion.
Yeah.
There's there's actually two franchises, and I think you guys know which ones I'm going to be bringing up, that were started off really good,
Yep.
really strong, and then just started veering off towards God knows what the hell they're doing now. Alien and Predator. Two of the
I knew-
best sci-fi horror franchises we've ever seen. That first ever
Mhm.
Alien film where, they brought terror into space and everything. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that was an absolutely fantastic film.
two
Aliens
of the most
2,
iconic.
where they decided to mix
It's
horror
called
and action
Aliens.
together.
Aliens. There's
yeah,
no
you get
two.
the idea. You know what I mean? Aliens.
The second movie. Yeah.
The second Alien film, Aliens. Like
Mhm.
they combined action and horror together. And if you ask me, if it wasn't for the zombie genre, which does combine action and horror together pretty well,
Oh,
that
yeah.
film would probably be my prime example for combining action and horror. You got, your victims, but they still have a fighting chance against the monsters you're trying to combat. And it's great. Predator, same thing, except obviously they turn it on its head as the film goes. These
Mhm.
buff, big, burly mercenaries getting their asses whipped by a prime hunter.
Whip.
Mhm.
The same thing in
And
Predator
Whip.
2.
Well, having said that, you're
Whether
kind
you
of
want to
right.
admit it or
It's
not,
A-
Arnold Schwarzenegger is the last girl trope.
Yeah,
of that
yeah.
film.
A-
He
Alien,
is.
Alien 1 and 2, very great. 3 went off the rails. Predator
Yes.
1 and 2, really great. And then the third Predator, which was
Predators, which is funny.
No.
Really?
It's Alien versus Predator is the third movie in the franchise.
Well,
Okay,
okay,
then-
well, I wasn't going to talk about that just yet because
Yeah.
that's, kind of like with Freddy versus Jason. You tried combining the two together.
Right.
But the
well, that's more
third,
sci-fi too than it is horror.
Mhm.
it does lean more into sci-fi and action than it does horror. And it doesn't
was-
help that they went with the PG-13 rating either.
Yeah.
Well, the thing with that was, they had an awesome comic book series and video game based off
they
of
did.
Alien
Oh, yeah, that
versus
video game
Predator.
was
That's
phenomenal
that's
back in
right.
the day.
See, they were combining
Yeah.
those two together before we even saw the
Yeah.
crossover film. Dark Horse
Mhm.
Comics was trying to make the
Mhm.
whole storyline together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
I had a Jaguar. Yes, I had Alien vs Predator. It was the
Yeah.
only
I have to-
game I
dude,
ever bought.
I have to say, I like the first two Alien versus Predator movies, but that
Just the two,
follow-up?
right?
No, there's
was
only
just-
two. It's Alien vs Predator and then Requiem.
but then
Mhm.
they rebooted the series of Predator.
Yeah,
With
the
Predators.
Predator.
oh,
yeah.
the Predator, yeah.
the
No,
Predator,
well,
and
you
it
had
was-
you had Predators
Predators were
first
good.
before then, right? That one was an
Not
all right
the
film. And
Predators.
then the Predator.
Predators was the fourth movie. I
Yeah.
Yes.
Predators.
Alien versus
that
Predator,
was,
then Predators,
yeah.
then Alien
That's
versus
where they
Predator.
dropped the
Requiem.
group of humans onto.
I
a
may be
planet.
wrong.
Wait.
Predator.
Yeah, no.
Planet.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah.
The Predators I was thinking of
Adrian
was the one
Brody's
where
in it.
the
With Adrian Brody.
Predators use
Yep.
autism pretty much. That one was terrible.
The Predator is the one where
Yeah.
That was
autism's the
awful.
superpower.
Yeah,
that was
that's
so
the
bad
Predator.
stupid, bro.
Yeah,
But then Prey brought it right back though. So that's a
Mhm.
movie franchise I feel like has jumped back and forth between it. I can't say the
But
same
now
thing
we
with
got that
Aliens.
new one. That new one
Predator
with the
Badlands, yeah.
yeah. That was
Predator
no.
Badlands.
Now the
They
perspective's
do.
in the Predator, a young Yautja who's about to become a hunter,
which
and then they have what's her name, Anya Taylor-Joy, I think it is, or is it a
Yeah.
different actress? Yeah,
Mhm.
who's
Okay.
basically
He's
an
the
android
robot.
following him around. Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know.
which is an android.
I want to
Yeah.
have hope, but at the same time, again, it's got a
Okay.
PG-13 rating. The Predator is going to
which-
be the protagonist in this.
Ronan.
It's, yeah,
Ronan, he talks. The Predator
The
talks.
Predator talks.
They
every-
What
yeah.
never talk.
What?
English?
Yes.
Yes.
Like in
Which,
English?
I mean,
God, come
not-
on,
not
that.
dude.
They talk in
He
the
talks.
first two. They do talk in the first two, but it's just
but it's
mimicked.
broken English.
Yes, I was gonna
it's
say,
what he-
it's-
it's what he learns. It's what he
it's-
learns. But in this,
it's
he
mimicked.
talked throughout the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's
dumb.
stupid.
Also, and speaking of Predators talking, shout out to the voice actor of Optimus Prime for providing the clicking noises
Cullen?
for the first.
Yes,
Shout
Peter
out to
Cullen.
Peter Cullen for providing the clicking
Mhm.
sounds, all the Predator noises.
Yeah, he did
for-
say
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yes,
for the first
he did do
Predator.
that.
Shout
That's
out.
great.
It's like both
But
those I
the-
feel go back and forth because the last Alien movie I feel like tried to go back to the original.
Romulus, right?
Alien,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't
Romulus.
succeed. but
And then
It-
Earth, and then
it
Earth,
tried
and then
going
Earth
back to
happened.
the original. It kind of felt more like it was a best of, with the original, with 2, with 3. Hell, even Resurrection, bits of it was thrown in there. And
Mhm.
then you got Alien Earth, which is a TV show for it. I watched the
Which
first
is
2
I didn't watch it.
episodes.
I won't watch
I-
it.
We don't talk about Alien Earth.
I wouldn't
Trash.
talk about it. It's
Well, I mean, okay, so we'll take it back to one more franchise,
Stop
and
being
then
so
we'll
nice
move
about
on.
it, Ronan.
The Jason movies. Where do you think that one, the Friday 13th, where did that jump the shark?
I think Jason takes
Manhattan.
Manhattan.
I kind of like Jason Takes Manhattan. To
I
be
agree
honest.
and disagree. Yeah,
But
I think on
I
the
can
ship,
see
I
why
think it
it
was
jumped it.
phenomenal on the ship.
Right.
But then once it got off the
Here's
ship, it's like,
why.
what's the point?
Here's why. It's the ending where he's literally in that. He's literally in that
The
toxic
sewer.
waste, and he
Yeah.
becomes a kid again. That was
Yeah.
Jason goes. Jason
Yeah.
Goes to Hell
What is
was
that?
a good reboot
Yes.
of the series.
Mhm.
Jason
was a
Goes to Hell
good
was
reboot.
fantastic.
And hey, that end
I did
credit
not watch
scene.
that one.
End credit scene.
I didn't like Jason
Freddy's
Goes to Hell.
glove, grabbing
the
his
mask.
The only thing
Oh,
good
yeah.
about Jason
That
Goes to
one
Hell
was
for me was
great.
the last scene.
Yep.
I did
took
like
him-
that Jason Goes to Hell turned Freddy into a full-on revenant now, where he's just able to transfer his essence into anybody, dude. So it's like
Mhm.
you can't kill him through conventional means now. You
Right.
got to find a new way to actually put him down
Mhm.
for good. It's
Yeah.
great.
Need to find metaphysical.
No,
meaning.
however,
Yeah.
like Rod Zombie did the updated Friday the 13th in the early 2000s, 2009, I
Mhm.
think.
It was 2009.
And
That was Rob
Friday
Zombie.
13th reboot.
Yeah,
that
he
was-
did. He
that
did
was
both the
Rob
Friday
Oh,
13th
shit.
and the Jason
Yeah.
and the
And that was the
Halloween,
last
Michael
one,
Myers.
right? That
And
was
Michael
the
Myers.
last.
Yep,
that
that's
was
the last
Friday
one,
13th.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
and
his
it was
Halloween,
actually good. And it was
Actually, we're
actually
getting-
good.
24.
Mhm.
We're getting
His
the
first
A24
Halloween-
prequel series coming out.
hmm
Well, his first
Resident Evil
Halloween,
prequels.
where Jason is a person. Jason is a
Yes.
actual. I think was phenomenal. Like they ruined it with the second one,
Mm.
or I might be thinking.
Yeah.
I might be thinking Friday 13th, but just having it be like documentary style of
Mhm.
showing what this kid had gone through from the beginning to the end. I was
Right.
really invested in when it come to Rob Zombie's version,
Right, right.
and I feel like that brought it back. But it's went downhill again.
And literally, the house these kids are like, this kid owns. Jason is literally in catacombs underneath it, been there for decades, like preparing himself to go out and do mass slaughter.
Yep.
Mhm.
It was so good. It was so good.
I think we talked about this on the last stream or brought it up. Like that 2009 film, he dug tunnels underneath all of Crystal Lake. That's why he was moving around so quickly, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
See,
Yeah.
that's a plausible reason as to why he's able to get his kills pretty fast.
That is a plausible reason. However, I offer you this, Ronan. Do you feel that although like even originally Jason was a kid who went to Camp Crystal Lake, and although the killer was his mother in the first movie,
Yep.
In the first Friday the 13th, do you feel that by showing like the tunnel system, the tunnel network under Camp Crystal Lake, do you feel like that was revealing too much of the mystique? It got rid of the mystique.
I was going to say
by
that.
showing
It humanizes him too much.
Yeah, I would.
I want Jason to be unknown.
Yeah, like it's terrifying just not knowing how he's just popping up behind you,
Right.
or at the freaking front door of a cabin you're at. It's just, that's
So
what
I'll say
adds
this.
terrifying. But when you know how he does it, it's like, eh.
So I'll say this: I can respect it that they would like humanize a little bit, because yes, they're rebooting it, they're modernizing it. At the same time,
modern audiences.
No, I know we'll try and discuss that in some way, shape, or form. I will say this, however. I like my Jason being a full-on fucking zombie. I like Jason like that because it just I like the idea that he's a walking, hulking, towering monstrosity that you can put him down, he's just going to keep coming back up no matter what. I like that idea a little bit more, I would say. That's just me personally.
That is the reason why after that movie they put in the comic books that his mother used the Necronomicon to bring him back to life.
Yep. So that he could be more magical.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like my only problem with that was like the tunnel system. It's like the thing is like we know he's a walking corpse. He's literally a walking corpse.
Oh yeah.
That was chained.
He drowned.
He was literally chained at the bottom of Crystal Lake for a decade before he was able to come back and kill again.
Yes, yeah.
His flesh was. I mean, literally, if you ever see like the clips from Manhattan, he shows his face. His face is literally it's skeletal and the like hanging off.
Sloughed off. Yeah.
It's like what happens when someone
and that's the reason why
or water for years.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why in Jason Goes to Hell, his mask is literally his face is bloated so much the mask
is just
part of
it inside of it.
Now. Yeah.
Let me see here. I think
that's the thing. Most of them became like they went from being horror movies to being like spectacle movies. Well, not comedies. Like Jason, I don't feel ever went comedy, but it became the spectacle over the horror.
Jason X when he's whipping the chicks.
Oh yeah,
that was a callback. That was a callback.
I know,
the movie.
It's so funny though. It's such a funny, hard cut too.
It's funny because like there's no music playing, and like you see Jason just bashing these two,
and the girl's still talking. You want to have sex?
Yes.
You want to have sex, and you just boom,
right.
Boom, boom. It's hilarious.
Wait, so actually, I gotta ask this then, because those were lesbians that he killed. Does that make Jason a homophobe or?
Ooh,
based?
interesting.
Makes him based.
But real quick, now that I remembered, actually, I think it was part 7, The New Blood, right?
That's
where
a
like
joke.
you see his face for the first time as a full-on zombie. Like one eye looks blind, the other one is just monstrous, teeth rotting away. Flesh.
Don't they show him in 2?
No.
Don't he take the bag off in 2?
Yeah, but the thing is though, it's like his eye is like he has like Bell's palsy is his deformity, and like later on they have it where one of his eyes, like reason you can't see his eyes is one of them is like completely gone, and it's just like a dark, it's just a black void, and he's looking through
socket.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, actually I just remembered too, since I made that reference to like modern film and modern audiences, whatnot. Let me talk quickly about House of Wax, since I did watch the newer one earlier, right? Like overall, I kind of vaguely, barely, sort of enjoyed it. Like it was kind of okay. I guarantee it doesn't hold a candle at all to the Vincent Price film back in the day. It does not.
Oh no, definitely.
It's definitely a film that feels like it's for modern audiences. Again, I would say the highlight is the fact that Paris Hilton gets speared right in the face. What's even more funny too is that what was his name? Vincent, the killer, like grabs the camera and just kind of starts recording Paris Hilton's corpse. I'm assuming that's supposed to be in reference to the porno tape that she released a while back,
Yeah,
or got leaked and whatnot.
There were
Yeah.
some references throughout the movie to that.
Yeah,
happening.
definitely. That was a pretty good film though. But the film definitely felt like it was pulling a lot of cliches, like, okay, Siamese twins, the way that he dies and the other brother dies, they're attached again in death, and all that kind of stuff. It's like,
Right.
I get what you're trying to do, film, but it doesn't really feel all that smart. Kind of does it.
That's the way most modern movies are now, though. It's like they look at the paranormal. Like 99% of movies we get now are the paranormal horror.
Yeah,
and it's just because it's easy to jump scare. It's easy to put this in, that in, to make it, just be the tropes basically. And they're like,
less blood. It's less blood. It's less blood that they have to like.
Right. Less
Dish
special
out for
effects.
special
period.
effects.
Well, I mean,
actually
cheaper budget.
Speaking of special effects, right? For a lot of practical effects they were doing in House of Wax, I can't believe they cheaped out on Vincent's like facial disfigurement towards the end. You can see it; it's clearly CG. Like, how do you cheap out on that? You're using all this wax work, right?
Dude, Vincent Price wore a mask. Literally, his mask. He wore a mask in the original movie.
I want to say this on jump scares. One thing that pissed me off is jump scares don't usually get me that bad, but the one jump scare that pissed me off because it got me was in 28 Days Later, when Cillian Murphy is walking up to that car in the middle of the freaking area, and I'm like, either there's gonna be a zombie in it or it's gonna car lava. Something's gonna happen there. It's gotta be something. The reason why it's there is it's set up a jump scare,
right?
And it got me. I was like, son of a bitch! I knew it was
car
coming.
alarm. Yeah,
you see it coming like 10, 15 seconds away. You're like,
well, that's
I'm
like
ready.
with the remake of The Haunting. The remake from The Haunting in 2005 was I was so looking forward to it because of Vincent Price's movie.
I was gonna say another Vincent Price movie.
But every single kill in that was a CGI kill. And it's like the head getting chopped off. You see the damn line work where the damn guy went in to fix it, and it's just like it takes you out of the movies now.
Yeah.
There's something about the practical effects that add so much immersion to a film.
Of course,
when you have sole CGI, and now CGI can be done remarkably well. I mean, look at the freaking off subject of the video, Avatar. CGI there is fine, but when you are lackluster or you rely too heavily on it. When you can have practical effects like in classic Alien, like in Alien, there's so much practical effects in there, and it makes it more terrifying because the actor is seeing the physical creature, the physical.
I agree with him. Said,
and it
like
makes
you go
it so
Alien,
much more terrifying.
Alien had the practical effect. Alien 4, which I do enjoy the movie for the ensemble, but the aliens looked so fake in that.
Yeah, they did.
So
they literally put a fucking xenomorph outfit on a fucking dog and let the dog run around.
Well, that was a test. I don't think they ended up using that.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, for Alien 3, Alien 3 was in Alien it was a dog, right? So it adopts the personalities and behavior of a dog. They used, I think they used the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? It's either blue screening or chroma keying, something like that. Like they superimposed the alien and you could chroma key. So they superimposed the alien with Ripley and all the other characters. At least they tried to make the attempt of some form of practicality. I can respect them on that. Looks bad.
Oh yeah,
but they still tried.
But when you completely rely on that, what do you get?
Right. Well, Bill, on that, I wanted to address some the I guess second remake of the thing. Obviously, John Carpenter's remake is technically a remake of the thing from outer space.
Yes.
But the one that came out in 2011, I believe it was 2011, which was kind of like supposed to be like a prequel-ish.
Yeah.
Because you have like the Norwegians.
I didn't even know they made it.
Discover it. I think it was 2011. It might have been.
It was 2011.
But it was a remake. Right. It was a remake of John Carpenter's. It was a remake. It wasn't a prequel. It was a remake.
Didn't even
I
know
thought they were going to go for a prequel.
Well, in the Kurt Russell, the thing, the John Carpenter, the thing. Remember, the Norwegian base is totally burnt out. But in this one, it's technically a little bit of a prequel because they go to the Norwegian base. All the Norwegians are there. That's when they first discover the ice casket, totally unopened because they open it in that movie. whereas it's already opened in John
Speaking
Carpenter.
of
I
scary
hate
jump
But
scares,
anyways,
Mhm.
the point I'm getting at is
Ah!
they did so
You should
much.
see how I feel when I look in a mirror. It's like,
They did so much practical effects work for that
yeah.
movie, and they basically had it almost all the way done, like 95% done. And then from on high, the studio came down and said no, and then they CGI'd over all of the practical effects. And when you
Biggest-
look at the behind the scene footage of the stuff that they put together, the models, the animatronics, they look like they would have been fantastic. And honestly,
even the
though
crab
story
dude.
wasn't amazing.
Yes.
The,
Yeah.
story
The guy that
wasn't
became
amazing.
the
If the
guy that
movie had the
yeah.
realistic, if the movie had the real stuff, had the practical effects that we could see as well, because the actors were seeing it, I think it would have been a significantly better movie.
Well, I mean, like in the movie, so the
Like,
dude, like, there's a clone of the guy that's in there, and they become this like spider
That's a good one, Ebola.
creature
Mhm.
that literally
Mhm.
starts crawling around, and they CG. Dude, the video game that was based off that movie was way better than the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And it's like it's
that says a
dude,
lot
it's like,
too.
just think
Video
video
game
games actually
movie
pretty good.
adaptations are usually pretty bad.
call the original for what it was. John Carpenter's The Thing is probably one of the greatest body horror movies of the 80s.
And
Straight up.
psychological horror, because
Yes.
again, you have a bunch of guys isolated. The
you don't
thing
know
can
who's
imitate
who.
Yeah.
any
Just-
biological material.
It's a nice blend of three
Yes.
subgenres there. It's psychological
Mhm.
horror, sci-fi horror, body horror, and they combined it very well. And I would say John
Remarkably
Carpenter
well.
knows how to do all three really well with a good number of
Mhm.
films.
Yep.
If I'm right, the Thing is like technically, sort of, not technically, part of what he calls the Apocalypse trilogy. You have The Thing,
Mhm.
right? And then you have In the Mouth of
Mhm.
Madness with
Mhm.
Sam Neill, which is a nice bit of Lovecraftian horror.
Yes,
AP, if
it
you
is.
ever want to check it out, check out In the Mouth of Madness.
I
That's
gotta
a great
watch that one. I gotta watch
And-
it.
It really is good.
And then you got Prince of Darkness, where it's literally Satan, but Satan in a sort of like biological waste water kind of like tube and
Yeah.
whatnot, right? So
Mhm.
another aspect of apocalyptic horror, just in a religious view, which is really cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know
But-
what? I'm sorry, Phantom. Go ahead.
So also, like, there's something I want to talk about. Like, we were talking about like franchises stuff. Can we talk since we got a little time left before we end this? Can we talk about the fiasco, which was the Dark Universe that they tried to do?
Yeah. That's a good subject right there.
Oh God.
So
was,
man.
which
something.
iteration? Because they tried like a jumping off point for the Dark Universe a few times.
I would
Two
say
jumping
that-
off points.
big
They've
Van
had
Helsing was the
Okay,
first one.
so
Yeah.
Wait, really?
it
Yeah,
is
they were trying
Carpenter's
to do-
was
one.
supposed to kick off a Dark Universe for Universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
So in this
Hmm.
universe, you were going to have the Mummy, you were going to have Dracula, you were going to have Johnny Death was going to be
Yep.
the Invisible
Invisible
Man,
Mhm.
and you had
Dr.
so
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, which was
Russell Crowe,
Russell
Yep.
Crowe.
which he was the only good thing about that movie.
Yep.
He played
I
Yeah,
agree.
he pretty much
fantastic
was. Yeah.
Dr. Jekyll.
Mhm.
I really like the interpretation, even though he had to take the serum like every 4 or 6 hours. It seemed he had to take it like
Mhm.
constantly throughout the day. I
Mhm.
really like how he played. Like, you'd come into a room and you'd shake his hand, talk to him like in mid conversation. He's mid sentence, like fighting it off. It's
Switching,
kind
yeah.
of overtaking him, and he's changing how he's speaking to you, and he's forcing his hands down and trying to get to like his little box to get to the serum to inject himself. And
Yep.
Mhm.
I really liked how that was being played by Russell.
Yeah.
That was
But
fantastic.
so here, like we've talked about this on For the Homies. They just came out with Frankenstein, a new
Mhm.
version of Frankenstein.
Guillermo del Toro.
They
Ooh.
did
Oscar Isaac.
Nosferatu last year,
Hmm.
and then
December
they
25th.
did a new Bram Stoker's Dracula this year.
Mhm.
And so they're working,
Yeah.
my thing is they've already did it once. There's your Dark Universe right there.
Yeah.
Right.
And that does not need rebooted. It's amazing the way it is.
I can understand why they would want to though, because if you enjoy the characters, you want money, yeah. But I mean, I can see if somebody really wants to, you want to like, I love these characters, I want to make a story about them, but we're not getting that. We're just getting the money.
Oh wow, that's a great one.
As opposed to creativity can happen if you care about the characters.
Yes,
so
I agree.
So we talked about this not too long ago. It's like we were like doing speculation of it and everything, and I was like, I know the end game of this.
Got a bat on the back.
They could literally do an Avengers style thing and bring in the Monster Squad, the kids to fight.
The Wolfman's got nards.
Oh man,
it's like
that'd be fun.
That monsters, Universal Monsters reboot thing, like that, it failed. It was a colossal fail.
Okay,
and
so
now they're trying to
the Mummy
do a
was
kind of more
terrible.
traditional. They're trying to do a more
let me
traditional one with the Frankenstein, Bram Stoker's Dracula, and so on.
Well,
and
it's just separate films. That's all that it is. And for now, you obviously should start it off as separate films. Let me ask this real quick. So you guys say Van Helsing was supposed to be what kicks off the dark.
Yes,
I'm asking it regardless.
That was
that
was one of the first.
See, that's a curious thing because you know what's the interesting thing about it? Now that you mention it. The same director that did The Mummy, Stephen Sommers, also directed the Van Helsing film. Now that you bring it up like that, I think they really could have kicked it off pretty well using that same director. Now it would be less horror and just more action adventure kind of thing.
Right.
That was the plan. The reason they didn't is because basically Van Helsing made back its budget and that's it.
Failed.
Yeah.
It didn't fail. It didn't fail. It didn't fail. It made exactly
just made back the budget.
Literally,
but it wasn't enough for the studio to try and push it forward.
Exactly.
I mean, literally the next movie he was supposed to go and fight the creature from the Black Lagoon.
I don't know if he's supposed to fight him, but he's supposed to go after him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, could you guys say that the Van Helsing movie is now a cult classic because it was technically?
I love it.
I've always enjoyed it, but I enjoy it for
great.
what it is. It's an action movie.
Yes.
To be honest, I'm gonna admit I have not fully seen that movie all the way through, and it's not because I don't want to. It's just because I had to.
Kate Beckinsale is my favorite actress.
I mean,
I'm going to see it.
And Van Helsing is basically almost like a 007-esque character, like because he has a Q character who supplies him with like an automatic crossbow. For
Phantom, shout out Peter Cushing.
I think that's a very interesting concept for like for horror movies. It's like having it from a hunter's perspective, who is trying to hunt down monsters and all that. Add like a antagonistic like relationship where it's not just one sided where one's fleeing and the other's chasing, but have it to where both are kind of after each other, and it would add a little more interesting dynamic. And it seems like there's a lot of horror movies that don't do that. And I know a good horror movie, which is I don't know if it can be classified as horror, but Sinners. Sinners is a really good one.
Technically, yeah, you can argue it is
because the main characters are fighting back against the vampires.
Yeah, there's antagonism towards each other.
AP again, you have
conflict.
AP again, you have action horror as another subgenre. So you're combining action itself with horror. So I mean, there you go.
But it works.
Yes,
and you had a director who loved his characters.
Speaking of, again, with like the whole action horror thing, I remember that the Universal monster films would try and do some crossovers with like the 3 different monsters before. You had Abbott and Costello doing combinations with like Abbott and Costello meets the Wolfman, Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein. Then you had, I think, what was it called? I think it was Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. I think that's what the film is called, where you actually have the 2 monsters fighting each other. And people have been dying to want to see something like that. 40, 50 years passes by. You don't really see much of it. Hell, there was that one Dracula versus Frankenstein film that only at the very end do you see the 2 monsters fight, and you can barely see it because the lighting's fucking horrible. They're filming broad daylight at a forest. You barely see anything what's going on. And then finally you kind of see something like those monsters fighting each other with Van Helsing.
Well, they've tried it 3 different times. The Van Helsing was the first try, Dracula Untold was the second, and then the Mummy was the third.
Yes.
Right.
Mummy might have been second. Dracula might have been
I'll
third.
admit, I personally enjoy Dracula Untold. I think
it's a good movie.
I think it's fun. I do too,
but that's the thing.
Well,
Universal, if it doesn't make money, they're not going to continue it. That's
that's pretty much what it is.
Well, also
unlike Disney.
Well, also
And
during
Warner
that time,
Bros.
we had I Frankenstein, which was also
Mhm.
a good
Oh, I
movie.
forgot
of
about
the-
that. That's
a
Michael
modern
Fassbender.
Sexy
Michael
Aaron
Fassbender
Eckhart
in
as
that, right?
Frankenstein as the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael
Mm.
Michael Fassbender's in that too, right? Like he's
Mhm.
He might be in it, but the
It's
the
Aaron
guy who
Eckhart. I don't
plays
know if Michael
Frankenstein's
Fassbender
monster
was
is
in
oh gosh. I mean, he plays Harvey Dent and Two-Face in the Dark Knight
Yeah,
trilogy.
Aaron
Yeah,
Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart.
Mhm.
Aaron Eckhart, yeah. And that's modern day. And he's almost like this avenging figure almost.
Hmm.
No AP. He's
Well,
not in it.
literally,
you're right,
literally, it's literally him fighting
movie else did
demons. So
Yeah,
it's actually a
which
real good movie.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And he has his
sounds
shirt off
fun,
half the movie, and you just see that movie made money just because of his Aaron Eckhart being
Yeah.
Aaron Eckhart,
sexy in
yeah.
it. Let's be honest.
Yep.
And
the
he
fact
got
that Carl
jacked
and
for that fucking movie too.
Oh,
He
yeah.
got
He did.
jacked for that
Damn.
fucking movie.
So I'm gonna go on to the next thing, and it's basically just whatever y'all want to talk about. We've talked about different movies, but is there any hidden gems or movies that you enjoy that you just want to talk about? We can all take turns on that. I'll go ahead and Ronan, I'll let you go first on
Oh.
that one.
I was thinking of a different movie.
Hidden gems. Oh,
You don't
man.
have to be, or just a movie you want to talk about. It maybe a lot of people don't talk about, or one you love that you just want to be talked about.
There's probably no specific one, but I know AP brought this up before when I forget which conversation we were having, but let's bring up
What?
A24 real quick, actually, because
Oh, yeah.
A24 does a pretty good job at making what they call ascended horror, where it's like not just horror in terms of like what we conventionally see, like they're really trying to elevate
call it?
and up the scare factor to such a degree, like films like
Mhm.
Hereditary, Midsommar.
Oh.
I'll even make reference to Ari Aster's like short film that he made before, the Something Strange About the Jeffersons, that I couldn't even finish that shit because
Bro,
that
that
was
movie
fucking
is-
disturbing, dude.
The
Like,
Witch in the
absolutely
Green Room.
disturbing.
Yeah,
disturbing.
I remember
Yes.
those.
Yeah.
So A24 does a pretty good job at making horror films because it's not just a matter of trying to jump scare you. It's not just a matter of shocking you with
So-
gore. They're trying to literally disturb you to your very core.
Okay,
There's
so
a through line of
Ronan,
that eerie,
on
creeping
top
dread.
of A24, then do you think they could do a good job with the Friday the 13th prequel series? Because they
I want to say yes, though at the same time I also want to feel that they should maybe try and rein it in just a bit, because I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I would hope that
Yeah.
maybe they don't try and go, I guess, overboard with their style of horror when it comes to Friday the 13th. Because it's already a pre-established franchise. You
Right.
have pre-established rules. Now I understand like they like to bend the rules whenever they make a new film, but there's a core kind of foundation when it comes
Right.
to an IP. You want to try and follow that core foundation. If you want to branch
yeah.
out a little bit from it, there's nothing wrong with experimenting, but you don't want to try and stray away too far, because otherwise you could alienate fans.
Right.
Exactly.
Because there are certain
Mhm.
tropes that like Jason has and needs to have. And
Yes.
again, like you said, if A24 goes to A24 with it, it would just be something totally different.
Exactly.
I think they could do an amazing job with Amityville Horror if they want to do that.
Oh yes,
Oh, dude,
absolutely.
I think they would do a good house horror movie.
that would be solid.
Well, also like not too long ago, we showed the trailer of this. They remade Salem's Lot.
Mhm.
they
earlier
did,
this
didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah, they did.
I forgot about that.
that.
Yeah.
Jinx.
I said it first.
Jake, is there any movies or anything you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I guess I'll bring up two things. I'll bring up a movie and I'll bring up a television series. So both of these, I think, now have the recognition they deserve, considering they both have been out for, I think, over a decade each. The first one I'm going to bring up as a series, and I mentioned this earlier, is the first season of True Detective. I think that it
Good
is
choice.
you can argue whether or not it is horror, but I do think that there's absolutely horror elements to it.
I think it is psychological.
Yes, absolutely psychological horror, and there's some Lovecraftian elements to it, especially with repetition. We are constantly stuck doing. We are going to repeat this. We are going to do the same thing again, eventually. What have you? The references to The King in Yellow, which is from a a book which is 8 short stories put
Isn't
together.
that
All
H.P. Lovecraft?
different, but
It is.
no.
Yeah.
The King in
I
Yellow
thought-
is, but the references that the show is making is to a collection of short stories, 8 short stories written together that are some of them are horror and some of them are not, and you don't realize till like the very end. There's like an epilogue that's written by the author that it kind of, again, like things start to click into place and you realize there's been a through line through all of these short stories that are being told. And like the Lovecraft story, you know, once you have read it, that's it. Like you will die type thing. And that's what happens to the author in that. So it at the time it was getting big hits from the critics, but it wasn't getting, I don't think it was getting as many eyes from the public as it probably should have. But now it is certainly regarded as
I disagree. I think season 1 got a lot of eyes. It's season 2 that kind of took everybody away from it.
and it
Season 2 and everything after.
Talk about behind the scenes reasons for that, but it is certainly something that is like put at the top of like the best season of television, at least.
Agreed.
Agreed. And for a movie, and this is kind of going the opposite way. Again, another movie that didn't get a ton of eyes on it initially, but is highly regarded now, at least I think, is Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh,
When
yeah.
Tucker and Dale versus
Oh man, that
didn't get
one.
a ton of eyes, but so many people have seen it now, and it is so good. It's so funny the way it plays
is.
horror tropes. You know, you have the group of teenagers going.
Why do these teens keep
on a
killing
trip.
themselves?
Why do they keep killing themselves? You know,
Well, it's
fantastic.
perspective. Yeah.
Right.
On
The
one side,
idea exactly the idea of taking a horror movie and flipping it on its head, flipping the perspective on its head,
Right.
and
It works.
It's so funny, and it really works. It really works. Really does work. So if I had to make a recommendation for a movie or a show that you haven't seen, watch the first season of True Detective. And if you haven't seen Tucker,
I gotta watch it.
It's a fucking riot. You should watch it.
It
Watch Tucker
is, yeah.
versus Evil.
I'm putting it
Yeah,
on the list.
I gotta watch. Okay, so this is a movie that was, I think it came out from Angel Studios, is Nefarious. Nefarious is a really fucking good horror movie, and it doesn't have any flashing imagery or any horror or gore or anything.
Mhm.
It's just
It's
the
all
guy
up here,
who
baby.
plays the demon, demon possessed man, he sells it so well. And sometimes you wonder, is he insane or is he actually possessed? And it's so good, and it's eerie, it's tense, it's the atmosphere is it's what, and the fact that it takes place in majority of the time in one room, and
Mhm.
it makes it so much better. That's what I love about movies like that is they were obviously they had a limited budget, so they worked with what they had, and it worked remarkably. And so I recommend, if you haven't seen that, it's a good one. And yes, it is very religious. It's has heavily Christian themes, but it's still one of the best horror movies I've seen in recent years.
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
And any movie that can really pull off a good story and have it be a good movie in a very limited setting, you know, whether Nefarious or, you know, go back to like 12 Angry Men.
Yeah,
for
I was about to say
instance.
12 Angry Men.
Like, if you can make a movie work in basically just like a single room because of the dialogue, the characters, the relationships between the characters, like that shows like impeccable writing. That is top tier stuff.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Phantom, do you want to go next? Do you want to go last since you got the visual aids?
I'll go last.
Okay. For me,
Aren't those just shades?
well, in his case, I got the
Visually.
visual. For me, there's quite a few movies
love
that are more, they are more comedy or drama horror than they are anything else. But my first one is, of course, Dead Alive, which I think, like you said,
Or
Jake,
Brain
a lot
Dead.
of people have seen
Brain
at
Dead.
this point, like Tucker and Dale.
Mhm.
But Brain Dead, Dead Alive, whatever you want to call it, depending on what country
Doesn't
you're
work.
in,
Yeah.
it's a horror movie. It's the first I don't know if it's first movie. I think it's his first movie.
One of
Peter
his first
Jackson.
films, yeah.
Of
Mhm.
Peter Jackson, and it's just they take
I think he did
so
Bad Taste
much.
first.
Did he do Bad Taste? Okay,
Yeah, I think
so
so.
they take so much from that and give you this hilarious look at like basically a little creature. It ain't a rat. It's a little creature bites people, gives and turns them into zombies, and each zombie turns another person into a zombie, and so
Mhm.
forth, so forth.
The
But-
Sumatran rat monkey, I think, is what it was.
Rat monkey,
Something like
yeah,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
But they mix so well the comedy and the drama, the comedy and the action, and the final
Mhm.
scene with the Phantom talks about blood porn. The final scene,
Oh yes.
with the
lawnmower.
Lawnmower.
just
Yeah.
it
The
has
sun
to be
just comes
seen.
in, turns on the lawnmower. Party's over.
Yeah,
Yeah, that shit is
and
great.
you get the
dude.
priest. You know, I ain't gonna say the line, but the priest kicking
Oh.
the ass of the demons. You
I
get.
was just about to say it too, because like
Don't-
just
Wait, you
real
talking about
quick.
Velocipaster?
I want people to see it.
Yeah, no, okay.
It's so great though, and
Yeah.
that guy's been in like a lot of different movies in America now because of that.
I gotta say,
Um,
another highlight of that film too is the it's after the two zombies kind of do with each other at the dinner table.
create
Zombie
even-
baby comes out,
He
and
create
then
a
this
zombie baby,
same
ladies and
kid
gentlemen.
has to take the zombie baby out to the park, and he's just whacking the damn thing around like crazy. You got the one drunkard just hanging out. Just,
hyperactive, aren't they?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
My favorite
So,
scene. I love that scene, but my favorite scene has nothing to do with the horror or the comedy aspect of it. But it's in every horror movie, in every other movie, you see where the person stands in the road, the bus goes by, and they just kind of disappear.
Mhm.
In this movie, they show what happens. I ain't gonna say what, but they show what actually happens.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
So, Phantom, before you go, I wanted to
Well, I got
say,
two more.
okay. Okay, you can go ahead.
I'm fine if you want to
Okay.
say something first.
Oh no, that movie I was referring to with that I thought was Michael Fassbender, and it was James McAvoy, Victor Frankenstein.
Oh, Victor
So
Frankenstein.
it was
Oh, yeah.
very
okay.
easy to mix up. Very easy to mix
Okay.
up there. But in the
Um,
second, so I wanted to add on to jump scares that actually I thought it wasn't jump scare, horror moments in movies that I thought was the most terrifying. 28 Days Later, again, when Cillian Murphy's character enters that church and you see it's littered with dead bodies.
I know what you're
And
talking
he
about.
goes, hello,
Hello?
and you just see three undead just bolt up and lock eye
Yep.
contact with him.
Yep.
They don't run, they don't scream, they just stare at him. I'm like, oh, that's terrifying.
Oh man, dude.
They try to do something similar in what was it, iRobot or not iRobot? What's the one with the Will Smith and a dog?
Oh, I'm Legend.
I'm Legend.
Legend,
Yeah,
I
they
Am Legend.
tried something similar with that, but it didn't work.
Mhm.
My second movie would be 2001 Maniacs. It is. We've talked about Robert Englund,
Maniacs.
but he is so good in this as like a cult leader. It's definitely
sure.
a B movie. It's not going to be up to standards of your usual blockbusters and stuff, but just to have Robert Englund in that movie was just, if you watch it, it gives you, it makes you feel like a prequel to House of a Thousand Corpses, kind of, because it's about a
Ooh,
cult.
okay.
But you get to see the whole cult going on against these kids, these teenagers and adults. I think I can't remember exactly now. It's been a while since I've seen it. Came out 2005. That's been quite a while ago.
They were probably played by the teenagers. Probably played by adults anyway.
They probably were.
Yeah.
But it's a really good movie. I think it's worth seeing for a Halloween. It's not. I wouldn't put it on being the first one, but if you've not seen it, it's definitely worth a watch. And my third one is a movie that probably I bet nobody here has seen. Maybe Phantom has. It's called Meet the Applegates. It's a
I've
movie.
heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Yeah,
Heard of
it's
it.
a movie. Stars Ed Begley Jr. If you saw a picture, you probably know who I'm talking
Okay.
about. But basically, his family and him come from a different world, and they're human form, but they're actually praying mantis underneath. And throughout the
Okay.
movie, it's more satire, more dark humor / horror, but they're eating the townspeople on and on, but while trying to live their lives in the town.
Okay.
Stocker Channing, Ed Begley Jr.
yeah.
There's a couple more people. I can't remember who else was in it, but it's really if you like, I would say, the look and the feel of Edward Scissorhands in the town. That's kind of what this movie gives off, that
Okay.
Tim Burton-esque kind of feel. I can't remember who directed it, but
Nice.
it's really
Michael
good. Leap
Lehman.
Michael
Applegate.
Lehman, yeah.
Michael Lehman, thank you. So it's
is
a
fun
really,
to
really,
watch.
really decent watch. It's probably not one you'll watch again later on, but it's worth seeing at least once.
Mm.
Nice.
Okay, Phantom, all up to you.
All right, so I had to go with the classic. You had to go. You had to go with the original 8 movies.
Universal Monsters.
You know, this right here. This is a classic. This is where it started. This is where it started
Hmm.
with horror movies. Now, so my movies, I love vampires, and like werewolves and stuff are like my high on the thing. But here's a genre of movies that came from China that they
Mm.
don't, you don't get to talk about it as much, and it's the Kung Fu Zombie series, 7 movies.
Kung Fu Zombie.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Oh
okay.
Lord, I
Hell
forget.
Which is actually really good. It blends comedy with horror. It's actually really, really, really good.
And Kung Fu,
And-
which
and
again,
Kung Fu.
That's
another
true.
genre
Yeah,
in and of itself.
and
So that's
I
a fun,
like
that's a fun genre mix.
yeah. So also I love Craftian horror. So here's
Oh,
movie
Life
that-
Force.
Life
Life
Force.
Force.
yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, so I want to. That's one of the movies me and Rough Night talked about. Was he said that was a really good movie.
Oh yeah, because it's space vampires.
Yeah,
It-
that's why he was talking. He's
That's
like, I love
not
that.
why I don't think that's why he said it was. A
Oh,
good
I
movie.
know why. Because you get to see her. You get to see a half naked
Basically,
female
she's
vampire
half
run
naked
No,
through
around.
the whole
No.
movie. Yeah.
So
She's
that's fair. That's fair.
like
Mhm.
Might have to
perfect.
put it on the list.
Perfect boobs through the whole movie. So
Now-
I mean, Nishi's gonna be watching it.
I do want to say. So I would like to add an animated horror movie to the mix, and it's going to be Vampire
Great.
Hunter D: Bloodlust.
Ooh, yes.
Is a
Oh,
really
yeah.
good horror movie.
Mhm.
You know,
I love the original, but two, just something about two didn't hit right with me.
it's so. I always love two. I always love two. I love the first one because I saw it on Sci-Fi. Never knew there was a second one until I actually got the PlayStation 1 game, and there was
Mhm.
like, wait a minute, this another movie?
Mhm.
I forgot they made a game of that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Shout out to my wife for showing me those movies, Vampire Hunter D and Vampire Hunter D: Bloodlust, because I know what you guys are talking about now, and yeah, I enjoyed those as well.
Yet he still won't watch K-pop Demon
Link and a
Hunter.
vampire
Bro,
Slayer. Link and a
There's
Vampire Hunter was a good one.
so many other things on the plate to watch, especially with spooky season. You know, things got moved up the list. So
Mm.
So, do we have anything else, Campia?
I think we get into there. I think we've got enough. Like I was gonna bring up the top rated horror movies, but I think we're good.
sure.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Thank you guys for tuning in for episode 4 Matinee with the Homie. So, Ronan, what you got going on?
Well, speaking of spooky season and horror and whatnot,
Spoopy?
for the next
call me?
few days.
What'd you call me?
Oh yeah, spoopy, because I like saying spoopy.
Spoopy.
But fine,
Three
for you
scary,
plebs,
five made.
we shall refer to it as
Spoopy.
spooky season. These
I
next
prefer to
few
call myself
days,
cultured.
I am going to continue playing Faith, the Unholy Trinity. We already went
Ooh.
through chapter 1, which was pretty fun. Chapter 2, we are going to start, if anything, tonight. Before we actually get ending 3, we're going to try and get ending 3, and then we'll start chapter 2. It's going to be absolutely fun. Speaking
Very
of
nice.
my because we were talking about Dead Alive and the one priest who was fighting the zombies, my priest outfit finally showed up. So
Let's
this
go,
Friday
baby.
you will finally
Nice.
see Father Ronan for chapter 3.
Let's
It's gonna
go.
be
baby.
absolutely great. And
Was it gotta be father? Couldn't it be Padre?
hey, no, it's
Father Ronan,
Mother.
Padre
Why can't it be
Ronan.
Mother?
Ronan.
Oh, okay,
Why
Mother
couldn't it
Ronan.
be Mother
Mother-
Superior?
Mother
Why couldn't
Rhonda.
it be Mother-
Mother-
why couldn't it
Padre
be Mother-
Mama.
Mother
Rhonda.
Rhonda, yeah,
Mother
no,
Rhonda
Mama,
the Superior.
Mama Rhonda, Mama Rhonda. There we go.
Madre Rhonda. Madre,
Oh,
Madre
Rhonda
Oh,
Mother Superior.
Mother Rhonda of Sister Act.
All I'll say this.
Oh my god.
All I'll say this as well, just outside of my own streams, just pay close attention to this Wednesday night. I'll just say that.
No.
I'll just put it right there. Pay close
Okay.
attention to this Wednesday night.
Okay.
You heard it.
How close?
Oh,
Very.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, if you're talking about secret memer, motherfucker, I'm going for my third
Whoa,
win tonight.
whoa, 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 whoa,
boy.
whoa, whoa.
Hey,
All right,
hey,
everyone.
hey,
All right,
hey,
everyone.
hey.
Calm down.
Dethrone him.
I want that third win, damn it! I want
Dethrone
that third win.
disclaimer.
Well, you better do damn well on Secret Memer then. That's all I'll say.
How many have
Oh,
you
you better
won?
not disappoint.
Well, 0. Well, I'm not talking about putting entrances in that. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh,
Who's next?
Jake.
AP, what you got
Oh,
going
okay,
on,
yeah,
homie?
Okay.
Well, right now I'm gonna be active on X, and if you're in the homies and GCA discords, I'll be in those too. But yeah, I've gonna be uploading videos tomorrow, and I'm working on a big review that I'm excited for.
All right.
And so yeah, that's all I've got.
Jake, what you got going on, homie?
Well, other than this show, Matinee with the Homies, 1
Very
p.m.
nice.
Eastern Standard Time every Sunday, I am, of course, a regular host on the official For the Homies podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday night. This week, I believe we're going to have Kreese back because last week he was away at a convention. So it'll be good to have another one of the homies back on, one of my brothers back. Other than those two shows, I am in the GCA Discord as well. And of course, in the official For the Homies podcast Discord server. And my name is Big Dog Jake, BIGGDOGGJAKE. You can find me basically anywhere under that name because I have it everywhere. I'm a professional VOA. I am a writer for hire. I love video games and I love metal music, and I will talk to anyone about them. And other than the shows under the Homies banner, I'm mainly just sticking to those as it stands and my real life stuff. But if ever I go back to hosting a show or I'm going to be on a guest appearance of anything, I will, of course, let all of you know. But otherwise, it's been another great episode of Matinee, and I was glad to be here.
He's always got that exit down. It's like just like second nature. I love it. It's good stuff.
So Campia, what when you're doing your outro, what are we gonna be doing next week?
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going. We haven't discussed what the storyline was going to be, but since we've got everything read out, we just wanted you to know that we want to let you, get to meet your homies. So next week, we're going to basically do a Meet the Homies cast where we bring our favorite movies on, top lists of stuff, like the favorite 5 movies. And we'll just discuss movies in general of like our favorites, what we think y'all should watch and stuff, and talk about how we got into movies or if we've got anything that like we want to talk about there.
All right.
I am also M Campy U fan. I am a Sugar Honey Iced Tea memer on X. You can find me there.
See you next
find me.
Uh,
I'll do that the first time, but I won't do it this time. I am also on Criticless and Camel Soup. Yeah, that's another nickname I have. You can find me in the Discords of the GCA as well as For the Homies. We might continue as well. If you join the Discord, we may throw another horror movie here and there up. We see what happens with that. Just
What'd you call me?
2 days till Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yep.
we can watch another movie. And also, just to finish out, I'd like to say, if after you leave here today, be paying attention to Jessica Lindstrom, my ginger friend,
Yes.
and a
Our
friend of the
ginger
chat
friend.
here.
Oh yes.
And go check her out
Ginger
for her cooking
takeover.
stream. She's finally hit 500 subs, and we're trying to get her watch hours up. So
Yeah,
go
let's
join
watch
our ginger friend, Jessica Lindstrom. Back to you, Phantom.
Absolutely.
2 hours.
All right, so I will be back here next Thursday night for the Homies podcast, and then Saturday night anime with the Homies. And once again, thank you so much, Atomic Patriot, for the thumbnail from last night's show. That was a real good thumbnail. I don't think we have a guest
That's right.
coming up. Yeah, I don't think we have a guest coming up this Thursday night, but we are in talks to bring on somebody pretty soon, a big person to come on pretty soon. So thank you guys for coming in, and make sure to go over there and check out Jess. Said tell her the homie sent you guys over,
That's right.
and make sure to say you look pretty good, my ginger friend. So
Whoa.
She is not ginger. Jess is not ginger.
we're heading out, and
Jake's blind.
will
We
see-
forgive him.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys Thursday night for the Homie Podcast. I am Phantom X. He's Atomic Patriot. He is Campbell Soup, multi-hair colored guy. We got Rondo the Crusader, and we got Big Dog J. This is Matinee with the Homies. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
See you
night.
next week.
Goodbye.
Like the stream nerd.
Like the stream.
Peace.
And Campia, stop being gay.